Bonjour! Welcome to the newcomers, and welcome back for the others. Let's get started with Chapter 3 of The Prince of Thorns. 2 dead, 2 eagles, making war that bickering of his. We'd have camped by the gibbet in any case, but making had ridden on ahead to check the ground. I saw the news that 2 of the 4 gibbet cages held live prisoners would cheer the brothers. 2, Rick grumbled. He tired himself out, and the tired little Rig always sees a gibbet as half empty. 2, Sneban ordered down the line. I could see some of the lads exchanging coin on their bets. The Leech Road is as boring as a sandy sermon. It runs straight and level, so straight it gets so as you'd like to kill for a left turn or right turn. So level, you'd cheer a slope. And on every side, marsh, midges, and more marsh. On the Leech Road, it didn't get any better than 2 cage wrigglers on a gibbet. Strange that I didn't think to question what business a gibbet had standing out there in the middle of nowhere. I took it as bounty. Somebody had left their prisoners to die, dangling in cages at the roadside. A strange spot to choose, but free entertainment for my little band nonetheless. The brothers were eager, so I nudged Gerard into a trot. A good horse, Gerard. He shook off his weariness and clattered along. There is no road like the Leech Road for clattering along. Wrigglers! Wright gave a shout, and they were all racing to catch up. I let Gerard have his head. He wouldn't let any horse get past him, not on his road. Not with every yard of it paved, every flagstone fitting with an neck so close a blade of grass couldn't up for the light. Not a stone turned, not a stone worn. Built on a bog, mind you. I bet them to the wrigglers, of course. None of them could touch Gerard. Certainly not with me on his back, and them all have as heavy again. At the gibbet, I turned to look back at them, strung out along the road. I yelled out, wild with the joy of it, loud enough to wake the head cart. Kempt will be in there, bouncing around at the back. Macon reached me first, even though he'd rode the distance twice before. Let the Baron's men come, I told him. The Leech Road is as good as any bridge. 10 men could hold an army here. Them that want to flank us can draw in the bog. Macon nodded, still hunting his breath. The ones whose boldest road, if it make me a castle, Sander in the S cost across my words, if the roadmen built castles, we'd never get in anywhere, Macon said. Be happy they're gone. We watched the brothers come in. The sunset turned the marsh pool to orange fire, and I thought of Mabertown. A good day, Brother Macon, I said. Indeed, Brother York, he said. So the brothers came and set to arguing over the wrigglers. I went and sat against the loot cart to read while the light stayed with us, and the rain held off. The day left me in mind to read Pletchart. I had him all to myself, sandwiched between leather covers. Some Orsis monk spent a lifetime on that book, a lifetime hunched over it, brush in hand. Here's gold for hollow, sun and scald work. Here blue like poison bluers and noon sky, tiny vermilion dots to make a bed of flowers. Probably went blind over it, that monk. Probably poured his life in here, from young lad to grey head, prettying up old Pluchart's word. The sander rolled, the wriggler wriggled and hauled, and I sat reading words that were older than old before the roadman built that road. Your cowards! Woman with your swords and axes! One of the crow-fists on the gibbet had a mass on him. Not a man amongst you. All pederasts trailing up here after that little boy. He curled his words up at the end like a mercy man. There's a fella over here got an opinion but you, brother York, Macon called out. A drop of rain hit my nose. I closed the cover and Pluchart. He'd waited a while to tell me about Sparta and Lycurgus. He could wait some more and not get wet doing it. The wriggler had more to say, and I let him tell it to my back. On the road, you've got to wrap a book well to keep the rain out. 10 turns of oil close, 10 more turns the other way. Then stash it under a cloak in a saddlebag. A good saddlebag, mind. None of that junk from the 13s. Good double-stitched leather from the horse coast. The lad started to let me up close. The gibbet stank worse than the head cart. A crude thing of fresh-cut timber. 4 cages hang there. 2 dead men. Very dead men. Legs dangling through the bars, raven-picked to the bone. Fly thick about them like a second skin, black and buzzing. The lads had taken a few pokes at one of the wrigglers, and he didn't look too cheerful for it. In fact, he looked as if he'd pegged it, which was a waste, as we had a whole night ahead of us, and I'd have said as much, but for the wrigglers with the mass. So, now the boy's come over, has finished looking for a lewd picture in his stolen book. He sat crouched up in his cage, his feet all bleeding and raw, and a man, maybe 40, all black hair and grey beard, and dark eyes glittering. Take the pages to wipe your dang boy, he said, fierce-like, grabbing the bars all of a sudden, making the cage swing. It's only use you'll get from it. We could set a slow fire, Reich said. Even Reich knew the old man just wanted us angry, so we'd finish him quick. Like we did to the trust on gibbets. A few chuckles went up at that. Not from Megan, though. He had a frown on under his dirt and suit, staring at the wriggler. I held up a hand to quiet them down. It'd be shameful waste of such a fine book, Father Gumst, I said. Like Macon, I'd recognize Gumst through all that beard and hair. Without that accent, though, it'd have got roasted. Especially on Lycurgus, written in Latin, not that pidgin Romanos they teach in church. You know me? He asked it in a cracked voice, weepy all of a sudden. Of course I do. I pushed both hands through my lovely locks and set my hair back so he could see me proper in the gloom. I have the sharp, dark looks of the Ancrath. Your father Gumst, come to take me back to school. He was bubbling now, unable to get his words out. Disgusting, really. Made me feel as if I'd bitten something rotten. Prince Honorous Jorg Ancrath, at your service. I did my court bow. What became of Captain Bortha? Father Gum swung gently in his cage, all confused. Captain Bortha, sir. Makin snapped a salute and stepped up. He had blood on him from the first wriggler. We had us a deathly silence then. Even the chirp and whir of the marsh hushed down to whisper. The brothers looked from me, back to the old priest, and back to me, mouth hanging open. Little Ricky couldn't have looked more surprised if you'd asked him 9 times 6. The rain chose that moment to fall, all at once, as if the Lord Almighty had emptied his chambered pot over us. The gloom that had been gathering set sick a trickle. Prince Jorg! Father Gums had to shout over the rain. The knight! You've got to run! He held the bar of his cage, white-knuckled, wide eyes and blinking in the dawn pure, staring into the darkness. And through the night, through the rain, over the marsh where no man could walk, we saw them coming. We saw their lights, pale lights, such as the dead burn in deep pools where men aren't meant to look. Lights that promise whatever man could want, and will set you chasing them, hunting answers, and finding only cold mud, deep and hungry. I never liked Father Gumst. He'd been telling me what to do since I was 6. Most often with the back of his hand as the reason. Run, Prince Jorg! Run! All Gumst he held, sickeningly self-sacrificing. So I stood my ground. Brother Gainst wasn't the cook because he was good at cooking. He was just bad at everything else. Okay, that's the end of chapter 3. À bientôt. Au revoir.